All right, it is 5 o'clock. I'm calling to order the September 23rd, 2024 Education Operations Committee meeting. First up is approval of minutes. I'm seeking a motion to approve the minutes of August 26, 2024.
So, second.
We have a first and a second. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That motion carries. Next is an Excellence in Action presentation. Statine Principal Kelly Halverson and representatives from Statine will give a brief presentation. And if you could hit the microphone there just so it turns green, please.
Good evening. Thanks for having us tonight. We're happy to be here and have opportunity to join the group. My name is Kelly Halverson, and I have the honor and privilege of being the principal at Statine Elementary. And in just a few moments, I'm going to ask my two super leaders here to introduce themselves. We are 15 days into the new school year, and tonight we chose to showcase and give just a little peek into one of the components of our social emotional learning. And that is something that our staff and students have been creating together, which are our mission statements, or the promises and commitments that we make to one another that we will abide by and kind of use as our guiding principles as we go into the school year. So at this time, I'm honored to have our next Wildcat introduce themselves to you.
Hi, my name is Hope.
Hi, my name is Abby Clement, and I am a Statine Wildcat in Mrs. Phelps' 5th grade class. This is our presentation on our classroom mission statements. I hope you enjoy.
This is Mrs. Goldberg's class, and we are going to share our mission statement for this year. We promise to be proactive and kind. To listen, to be a friend, to learn, and to be a leader.
Hi, I'm Arta, and I'm from Miss Meek's class, and this is our mission statement. We come to school because it's important to learn, it's important to have fun, and we want to be leaders.
Hi, my name is Kinsley. Our class mission is to work hard every day to learn reading and math. We will listen and be nice to each other. We will learn to be leaders. We will have fun.
Hi, my name is Bronson. Hi, my name is Norman. In this class, we will be leaders by using whole body listening when the speaker is talking. Is cleaning up after ourselves, learning new things, creating a welcoming class, trying our best, and having fun.
Hi, I'm Nora, and this is Mrs. Ivy's class mission statement. In our classroom, we will try our best every day. We will encourage others to do their best because we want everyone to be successful.
Hi, my name is Ava. Hi, my name is Davis. This is Miss Lanebaker's class mission statement. In our classroom, we will try new things and do our best. We will help each other succeed even when it's hard. Hi, I'm Penelope, and this is Mrs. Cordino's class. In Mrs. Cordino's class, we will treat others with kindness and respect. We will keep our hands to ourselves and make safe choices. We will be truthful and honest. Each day, we will work hard and try our best. We are a classroom family who will work well as a team and have fun together.
Hi, my name is Ezra, and we're Mrs. Jaglinski's class.
In Mrs. Jaglinski's class, we will be kind, respectful, and encourage each other. We are a classroom family. We will be responsible for our things and keep our classroom clean. Our biggest We will do what's right even when no one is watching. We will be truthful and honest. We want to be happy, have fun, be safe, and do our best each day.
Hi, I'm Avery, and I'm going to be reading Mrs. Burns' class mission statement. As fourth grade Wildcats, we will use the 7 habits to learn and accomplish new things. We are great role models and leaders. We will remember that we are in charge of ourselves and be proud of who we are. It's okay to learn from our mistakes. It is our responsibility to take care of our tools and materials in order to be prepared. Our classroom will listen to each other and follow the golden rule so we can accomplish our goals and have fun. We're going to be a team and work together to do better.
Hi, I'm Julian from Mrs. John's class, and this is our mission statement. We will build a community of classmates where we will use teamwork to grow, learn, and answer people's wondering. We will be kind, helpful, fun, and make friends with everyone.
Hi, my name is Leo from Mrs. Cruzan's class, and we're going to be telling you about our mission statement. We are an awesome class family that is fun, generous, and encouraging. We will be responsible leaders and show up every day to learn.
In Mrs. Knowles' class, we are leaders who uplift and support each other in a space where everyone is celebrated. We embrace our differences and strive to be positive role models both in and out of the classroom. We create a safe, welcoming environment where we work hard, have fun, and show kindness. We are a family.
My name is Calvin, and this is Miss Phelps' class. Our 5th grade family is a team of leaders who are kind, caring, and respectful. We collaborate to create a classroom that is safe and engaging. We work hard and have fun, making memories to last a lifetime. We are a class family. We are Teen Wildcats.
So that's a little bit of what we've been up to so far as we got started. So like I said, we're 15 days in. This is something that we do at all grade levels, and then it becomes, as I stated earlier, kind of our guiding principles. Sometimes these change as the school year gets going, if students recognize that there's things that they want to change as things arise. But it's just kind of those guiding principles that will get us on our way. So thanks for watching.
Thank you.
Any questions for my
Questions from
team
board
here?
members?
I've just got one. Abby, other than getting to go to school where your mom is every day, what's the best thing about Statine?
All the staff and everybody are so kind to everybody there.
And that wasn't even a plant.
That's a good answer.
That's a very good answer. And I don't know about you, Lance, but Jennifer, I think you may have had kids that went through Statine too, right?
Yep, I did also.
I don't know if I'm getting old, but there's only 2 teachers left there from when my kids went through, so... but
You are getting old.
I know. Great job.
Thank you very
Is
much.
there anything you would like to add? Anything you want to tell us? Uh-oh.
I'm a Teen Wildcat, and I am a sign, and I have hearing aids, and I'm hard of hearing, and I have trouble hearing and signing.
Well, you've done a great job today. Thank you for coming.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
Hope, could you teach us a sign?
Okay.
The pressure.
Can you teach us
How
a
about
sign for
thank you?
school? Yeah?
Thank you.
Oh, that's a good one. Thank you.
And another sign is you're welcome. I'll show you. You're welcome.
You're welcome.
Yeah. That's yes.
Perfect. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next, time for public and student comment. There is none, so we will move on to presentation of the district ACP plan. John Winter will give a brief overview of the academic career planning program.
And just for clarification, it does say action requested on this. There's no action requested, it's just a presentation.
All right. Now just use that redhead. All right, thank you for having me tonight. I'm going to present just an overview on academic career planning. Thank you. I'm John Winter. I'm the Career and Technical Education Coordinator in the district. I'm going to present an overview on the academic career planning, give you an update on kind of where we're at as a district, some new updates and things that we've collected from the state, and then maybe some next steps as we move forward. As Kale mentioned, no action is required or requested tonight. This is just an overview, and then the plan would be to come back to you with a more polished, revised, finished academic career plan in the next couple months. So, all right, academic career planning has been around for a while. It is a component of what we know as PI 26, which is a statute called Education for Employment. And so this first slide, I'm just kind of outlining kind of the structure of it and what we need to know as it relates to the state statute and what we have to do as a district. So we have to have a plan approved by the district. It needs to be renewed every year. It needs to be posted on the website and developed with community stakeholders. It needs to be kind of in the fabric of what we do already, right? It needs to be readable, actionable, goal-oriented, and then, as I mentioned, integrated with what we're doing in programming already. So what we don't want it to be is an old dusty binder called E for E. Like years ago, I think I might even have an old E for E binder, but the intent is really for it to be a living, breathing thing within our district and with our students in our community. So let's see, it looks like I've got control. Okay, so these are really what I did here was just outline the main components of the plan. So this is what we have to report out in our academic career plan. It starts with labor market information. Labor market information is already reported, especially in my world of career and technical education. All of our career pathways, we have to report labor market information with our pathways as it relates to the federal Carl Perkins grant. But last year, all of our departments actually spent some time looking at labor market information, not just career and tech ed areas or career pathways, but all content areas. At the time, Deb Foster was working on scope and sequence, aligning standards, and she also had departments look into labor market information. So not just necessarily if you're a manufacturing teacher, but if you're a math, English, science teacher, they took a look at different resources within labor market information. So that ball's already rolling. Post-secondary education and workforce prep. So that's reporting out like our dual credit, AP, IB, our workforce preparation like youth apprenticeship, work-based learning. Lots of different examples that we're doing quite well right now. So that's the second section. Professional development for staff around academic career planning. Last year in February, we hosted a national speaker in Mark Perna to talk to our staff in 612 about career literacy and kind of how to have those conversations with students. Family engagement and community partnerships. I'll show you a lot of different examples on our website in just a minute, but those are two areas that we're always looking to improve or increase in our district. Academic career plan curriculum support and services. So this year, Wisconsin has put out career readiness standards. They just came out over the summer. So folding those into our plan is going to be some of the work that we need to do right now. And then just the formal process with future goals and ACP plan, that's the plan itself. and access to ACP software tools. So we are provided a tool through the state called Zello, and so that's already accomplished as well. So this slide is just a little update as far as what we have learned from the state. I mentioned a number of them, but I guess I'll just point out, like, this graphic here was the original graphic with academic career planning. The state gave us this back at around 2015, and it follows that know, explore, plan, and go plan. What I would say, and this is good news, is that there's a lot more support in terms of academic career planning in many different respects. One of them being that we now have career readiness standards. That's pretty nice. We also have SEL standards. And so what is happening now around the state is many districts are crosswalking both standards, SEL standards and career readiness standards. And so that's kind of like this year's work. I was at the Career Readiness Conference back in August and talked to a number of different districts to kind of figure out where everybody is at. And that's a lot of the work that's being done right now. Revised ACP guide. So this is another thing that has come out from the state that's very helpful for us as a district, is they've given us detailed expectations and guidelines on what this should look like. And so that's been very helpful, along with CISA trainings. So we had a team, our district ACP team last February went up to CISA, attended an ACP workshop, and this Friday I'm going to also be meeting with the CISA Career Readiness Coordinator to kind of review some of the work that we've been doing. So those are all great things for us as a district because we're getting a lot of the support there as well. This is just what the career readiness standards look like. Already mentioned them. They come out in 3 strands: career ready, learning ready, and life ready. So just a current snapshot kind of us as a district. Last year, we kind of regrouped and just said, we need to recharge ACP a little bit. We're through COVID. During the COVID time, we couldn't have guest speakers. We couldn't go on field trips. We had an ACP plan. We've got a lot of new faces in our buildings here at Longfellow, and it was just a good time to just say, hey, let's reconvene the team and get a little recharge. And that was right around January or February. And we brought in Mark Perna as a speaker, which was a great energizer as far as rejuvenating career literacy and really talking to students about it. As I mentioned, Deb kind of led the labor market information and scope and sequence, which was really important because that's kind of step one. And then you take a look at your scope and sequence and align it with labor market information. So that was kind of the work that was done last year. Currently working on the new ACP plan to be approved this year. So that's kind of a quick snapshot. I think the latest thing, the latest greatest thing is our new website, and I don't know if I can click on that, Cassie. But while that's loading, I guess I would like to give a shout out to our communications department, Diana White and Sandy Warnicki, for putting a lot of information into this website. This is really kind of the beginning of our plan. It's a work in progress right now, but we've been able to capture a lot of those things in the different elements on the website. So I guess I'll just direct your attention to on the left. If you scroll up just a little bit, Cassie, we just added a few pictures, but then on the left-hand side, scroll down just a little bit, there's each block represents our school. And if you click on those, they kind of show you the different resources within ACP in each building. So if you click on the middle school one, those are the lessons that we have planned for each month. And then the high school links take you to either the counseling department website, which has a lot of ACP resources, or the Career Center Coordinator's website, which is full of ACP resources as well. So then, as you kind of go through this website, this is kind of the background, gives you a little background on like how ACP fits in with Education for Employment. And then further down, those are 5 different strategies that we use to help teach academic career planning. And then the 5 bars represents, so this one is our a lot of our data. You can see how many students are in career and technical student organizations or work-based learning. Kind of gives you some data behind some of our programs as well, like industry credentials. How many students are we graduating with an industry credential? The next one is career readiness success stories. This is one area we got to continue to build. I know there's hundreds of success stories out there, but if you get a chance, this is a really good video. A student that is currently working at Aspirus that came out of our youth apprenticeship program. The next one is career readiness in the Wausau School District. So this kind of drills down into even the elementary school career exploration. What are we doing in 6 through 8 as well as in our high schools? Hits on a little bit of our some of our counseling services, our dual credit information, a lot of our different programs like our pathways is just kind of outlined here. And it's not all completed yet, but we're continuing to feed our communications department a lot of good information here. So the next one I believe has to do more with transition services and what we're doing to help support students in that, students with IEPs and transitioning into post-secondary. What kind of program do we have out there for basically all students that transition out? And then the last one is just getting involved in what are we doing with family engagement and community partnership. As I mentioned, these are 2 areas that we continue to try to grow and expand. Kind of highlights a lot of the different business and industry partnerships that we have and a lot of academic career exploration events that we're partaking in as a district. So that was a very, very quick overview of our ACP website. One more slide, I think. There we go. So I think I might have mentioned several of these already, but our future work and next steps in academic career planning continue to grow our district team as well as our teams within each building. I gave a similar presentation during our professional development day. It was kind of also a little bit of a recruitment to try to get more people engaged in this work and those that are passionate about it and want to help do some of the planning. Review that feedback too. We did a little survey with some of our staff members, and so we're looking at that. That'll be some of the work that the district team does. Like I mentioned, Friday I'm meeting with CESA 9 Career and Life Ready Coordinator, mapping out SEL and career readiness standards and embedding them within a lot of the scope and sequence that we're currently doing. Expanding tools for students and staff. I mentioned Mark Perna was a speaker. He provides career trees, and this is something that we haven't done yet, but kind of working towards, is providing our staff with a career tree, which is nothing more than a poster on a wall that has a career tree that explains different careers and different levels of the career and what entry level means and what professional level means and graduate levels. So just different tools to have conversations with our young people about careers and be able to provide our staff with the right tools. Zello lessons. Zello's continuing to come out with different lessons and different professional development. So kind of engaging in some of that. And then lastly, as I mentioned, increase family and community engagement. And to that point, I should mention too, on Wednesday, we're taking around 250 students to the Wausau Area Builders Association Build My Future event. So it's just one example of trying to, expose students to a wide variety of careers. And this particular event is not just a career in construction, but we've got the Wausau Police Department, the Fire Department's going to be there, NTC is going to be there. There's going to be a lot of different industry there, and So students being able to get outside and explore this expo is going to be pretty exciting. And I'll mention one more. In October, we've got our heavy metal tour where all of our 8th grade students will be out visiting different businesses in the community. They're going to be at 2 different manufacturing facilities as well as a visit at NBC. So we're continuing to do a lot of great career exploration in the district, but the work's not done. We're still developing it and improving it. So thanks for the opportunity to share a little bit about ACP, and I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Questions from board members?
John, one of the things that I've always been curious about is for years, previous administration, we talked about these career pathways. And the more that I looked into that, there's a lot more substance to them than getting a student exposed to, hey, we offer machine shop here, or we offer construction trades, whatever it is. Like, there's high schools out there that have very specific programs that start almost in middle school. And I mean, there's lists of them here. You can go like an information technology route. You can go hospitality and tourism, healthcare. All of these real more specified tracks that bring students along through it rather than just kind of being by accident. Is there any way that we can like move in that direction with some specific goals and objectives towards being more prescriptive rather than, it almost feels like what we do now happens by accident. And I don't mean that in a negative way, but it's like kids just pick a class and, I got to meet this requirement, I got to take that requirement. But very seldom do I hear, at least from parents, that they feel like they're really, kind of trending to a purpose, if you will, after school.
It definitely can be written into the goals, right? I mean, one of the things when you're describing a career pathway, there's a number of things that we have to put into a pathway. One of the requirements is a sequence of classes, and we have, I think we're at 7 regionally endorsed career pathways. That's kind of a new term in Wisconsin as far as pathways go. But you have to meet many of the requirements within that pathway to be an endorsed pathway. The Wausau School District has 7, I believe it's 7 regionally endorsed pathways. Okay, so a sequence of class, but then there's also requirements like work-based learning. And a lot of the pathways you're describing have that. They have a work-based learning experience. They also have a student organization attached to them. And so, we're working towards continuing to develop those pathways. You're talking about different examples of really strong pathways that are producing students in the workforce, correct? And so, I can proudly stand here and say we have several of those pathways that are doing that. Not all 16 pathways are completely developed that way.
Sure.
And we certainly don't have the capacity for that, but continuing to get what we call CTE concentrators, students that graduate with all of those requirements, could certainly be written into a goal.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Any other questions or comments? Okay, thanks, John.
Yeah, thank you.
And our next item is a follow-up discussion of the Title IX policy. This is discussion, follow-up from the presentation on July 8th of 2024 at the regular board meeting. At that time, we adopted the Neola updated policy, but we did not adopt some recommended attorney changes and said we'd bring it back. So it is now back, but you'll notice that it isn't listed for action because administration is not recommending those changes, but we certainly are able to discuss it. Kale, did you want to comment on this
Sure,
policy?
I can give a recap of it. So the Title IX policy was brought to the board on July 8th. At that time, the board adopted the policy. However, there were some concerns with the tight timeline for adoption, as well as concerns with changing landscape and litigation surrounding the policy. The board had discussions at that time about accepting the Neola policy as or with slight modifications recommended by admin. The board chose to accept the Neola policy to be in compliance, but requested to see a cleaner version of the modified policy as a side-by-side at a later date. Included in the board docs are those two policies side-by-side with the modified versions and the Neola policy. As an administrative team, we're suggesting maintaining the current Neola policy, 2264. We feel staying tight to the policy provides us some additional coverage right now with the litigious state of it. Being as tight to Neola's umbrella policy puts us in our best position. We understand that there's this topic that has increasingly complex for school districts and communities, so we bring it back to the board for further discussion or direction.
Okay. Yeah, and that was the concern that I had and others had too at that meeting, is if we go away from the Neola version, I would really want to have a really good reason for doing that, because if we stick with the Neola version, we're protected more so. So, board member questions, comments, requests on the Title IX policy? Okay, so then that wasn't listed for action, so it'll just stay as is, as we adopted in July. And we'll move forward then on to our next topic, which is the elementary task force update. Kale Bushman and Diana White will give us an update on the elementary facility plan citizen task force.
Good evening, everybody. So what I am going to do here, Mark Roffers, the demographer that is facilitating the task force process, is not able to be here tonight, but he did provide us with a memo that really highlights and recaps the task force work to date. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to highlight some key points within that. Certainly try to answer any questions you have, but I will note that he will be joining us at our next board meeting on the 14th. So to recap, the Elementary Facility Plan Citizen Task Force, their charge is to recommend one or two preferred elementary school facility options by the end of this year. That includes advice on whether the number of elementary schools in the district should be reduced. If so, then how, where, and when. They are advisory only. As you know, the board would have the ultimate decision. So that is a recap of their work. So they have now met 4 times. They will meet for the 5th time this Wednesday at 5:30 p.m. at Wausau East High School within the library. We have recently moved their meetings because the Nicholson boardroom, while it has been great to fit 45 task members, it's been quite tight in here. And we also want to make sure that if anybody wants to come observe the process, that we have the space for them as well. So again, their next meeting is this Wednesday, the 25th at 5:30 p.m. To date, much of their work has been just about gaining knowledge, learning about transportation, the condition of our buildings, school district finances, educational programming, and policy. And now that their work is shifting, so if we take a look at their most recent work on the 11th, the task force spent some time talking and just discussing future facility options, and there was a general consensus within that that they were interested in looking at closing 2 or perhaps maybe 3 elementary schools. I would note that no specific schools were mentioned. This was just high level. They also talked just as members and in groups about some components to that, some of those being phasing of closures. There were a few that talked about the possibility of building a replacement school as part of a consolidation plan. But again, no specific schools mentioned. This was strictly looking at the numbers. So the next meeting on the 25th, much of that work will focus on securing the task force's broad direction and identifying other components of a facility recommendation that the task force wants to pursue further before beginning any discussion about specific schools. Now, just a couple of things that have been talked about by the task force in detail, and again, this is from the memo that Mark Roffers provided to us. We have been asked on several occasions about the possibility of moving 5th grade to the middle schools. In response, as Mark has noticed in the memo, which is available in Board Book for anybody to review, we'll also have it linked on our website, is that adjusting the middle schools is not within the board's charge. We've also shared that challenges with school capacity and configuration, educational programming, and social development that would result from that, but he welcomes any further board reaffirmation, adjustment, or questioning of that guidance. In addition, one other thing to note is there's been a lot of discussion at each of the task force meetings about early childhood education and care, including 4K and the potential for wraparound care at the schools. As Mark notes in here, at the next meeting, we will learn whether this idea has traction among a number of task force members or just a few. And then in that meeting, they intend to provide the task force with a bit more background on the subject and on realistic options. So certainly here he has noted as well, they would welcome any board guidance on that matter further. So those are some of the key points within his memo. Again, he will join us on the 14th, and then prior to that, the task force will meet for the 5th time on Wednesday. I'll try to answer any questions you may have at this time.
Questions, comments from board members?
I would just, thank you, Diana. I would just add that with the process, we're being as transparent as we possibly can. We know that we're getting to the point where when we start talking schools, emotions are going to be charged and feelings are going to get involved with it. But we've been as transparent as we possibly can. Everything is loaded on the website. If folks are interested in coming to Wausau East to observe the process, we certainly welcome that as well. We'd like them to be part of that. And then I'd also add that it's very organic in that it's driven by the task force members. During the process, administration's been hands-off and only information delivery. We're not going to be making suggestions or pushing in any direction.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, thank you. Up next is a referendum construction bid update. Josh?
Fantastic. Thank you, Cassie. So it has been a minute since we've put this in front of you. So as a reminder, this is the budget for our 2022 capital referendum. $119.8 million originally, along with some projected interest earnings. So I wanted to give you an update specifically around the Horseman Middle School and Montessori bid. So we did receive those bids, and work actually began very late last week on that. But when we look at the bid budget, we have $11,528,184. So well below the design budget of $12.9 million. And I think it was in January, the board asked us to get which was a great idea, asked us to get an updated estimate on all remaining projects from Nexus. So they refreshed all their estimates, and that's not reflected on here, but that refreshed estimate had been $13.3 million. So the actual bid price is about 1.8 below that. And what that does for the total budget is brings us, I know it says negative $2.3 million. That means we are under budget by $2.3 million. And that does include the price for the West Community Room and Bleacher Storage Room. Again, that is a price that is now a couple months old, but that was the price we were given. Any questions on the budget specifically?
Does that include doing the work at every elementary school? So assuming that all the elementary schools stay open? Okay.
So that brings me to the next part of my presentation and or question, is that this does kind of bring us in the home stretch of these referendum projects. And knowing the work we have going on with the task force, we are bringing this in front of the board to ask for some guidance of what would you like to see us present to you in terms of an end of referendum plan.
So it includes all of the elementary schools. I don't see the FF&E
Yeah, where's the district
there
lines
anymore,
line?
like the district-wide
So that-
kind of thing.
It's in there. That is a SNP issue on my part. So that $8.6 million is still in there. And the majority of that is unspent. It's 8.614 million total. A little bit of the technology has been spent.
So that 2 million that we're under, that's even with spending $8 million
Spending
on that.
$8.614 million on that, yes.
Well, when we started this whole thing off a long time ago, I was really pessimistic about it looking like this when we got to this point. So I apologize to Nexus for doubting that we'd actually look this good at this time. But the good news is that some of the inflation that was bad caused increased interest earnings, which was good. So that definitely helped wash some of that out. So questions, comments from board members. Obviously, we need to give some direction as to what we want to see next, including, as Josh mentioned, the sort of end of referendum spending, because I think we're pretty close here now to the end.
Well, just a couple thoughts on that district-wide 8 point, whatever you said it was. Didn't we at one point prioritize the line items that were within that bucket?
Yeah, and I could bring that to you. I'm going to quote from memory here, but I think it was about a little over 4 million for FF&E, a little under 4 million for technology, and then about $200,000 for kind of owner direct discretionary purchases.
And I just think that would be good information for the board to review within, just to make sure that everybody's aligned on priorities. I mean, if the administration, if you guys are recommending, I mean, I have no reason to say otherwise, but I don't even remember what was all in that. So I just think it would be good to.
Sure. So I could bring that to you along with the original language on what the intent was for that money.
Okay.
We could bring that. Any other idea?
I would say that the only other thought I had is on the elementary schools that have not had work done to them. Absent of any, if there's not a timeline that we have to commit to starting something or not starting something, I don't think we can go any further until we have the recommendations back from the task force on what they think should be done from an elementary footprint. So I guess I would suggest staying in kind of a holding pattern with what hasn't been done.
Okay.
I think that makes sense to me too, but one thing I'm more confident in now would be the West Community Room bleacher storage that I wasn't as sure about before, because I wanted to make sure we had enough left over at the end. I didn't want that to take away from, I didn't want to assume that one of these elementary buildings was going to close and then it didn't, and now we spent the money on something else. But it seems like we have enough there now. Even if every elementary school stays open, we still have enough that we could do the community room and bleacher storage that we pulled out because that price tag went up.
I've thought that it's been included about 9 different times, so I'm giving up on whether or not I think it's still there. But
well, we've kept looking at it, but we kept putting it off because the price tag came back higher than we were planning.
I agree with you. I think it absolutely should be done. Also stays within the spirit of the original referendum, so I would absolutely support that.
So hopefully that price is still accurate, but it is now a little old. So I could ask for a refreshed price on that.
I think it would be worth doing that. It sounds like there's interest in seeing that again now that we have a little more confidence in what our bottom number is. I think it's a good time to refresh that.
Yes, because we were simply waiting. My understanding was we were simply waiting for Horace Mann to come through to make sure that that project didn't mess up the budget too significantly.
Yeah, that was the big one that we still had left.
And now it's great, so there's funds available to take care of the other.
So what about if there's a balance remaining? Do you guys have thoughts on, we do the community room, see what happens with the elementary schools? For example, if there's still $2 million under, what are the options to do with that? I mean, and I know one of them would be to pay back or not take all of it out, kind of an active defeasance, if you will.
Did we put any normal maintenance roofs or anything else on hold? kind of thing that we could use this towards, or
There's a long
is there
list.
a definite, or is it a more of a defined
Well, just
scope
hold-
because of the referendum?
Hold on, have you guys given it any thought, or is it something that needs to be vetted out yet, if there is money left over?
Needs to be vetted out.
Okay.
We were coming, our plan was to come to you to say, what vehicle do you want us to bring suggestions to you? Do you want to give us suggestions? What does that look like? We're also in the middle of a building assessment with CISA, and they're going to be coming back to us within the next month and a half with information about what that looks like and what the 1 to 2, 2 to 5, 5 to 10-year plan would be. So that might give us some guidance as well.
And it did talk about building improvements and deferred maintenance, and so it's pretty broad, but it would be good for you to come to us with a list of the high priority examples of those.
Yeah, the need certainly remains within the district, and we could certainly come to you with some suggestions.
Great. Any other suggestions or requests from board members? So what will be the timing on bringing that back?
So the information regarding the $8.6 million and a refreshed estimate on West, hopefully we could get that in October.
Okay.
The rest of the information, probably wait until we know a little more from the task force.
Yeah, okay. Sounds good. Thank you. Okay, then I am seeking a motion to adjourn. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? We're adjourned, and we've got about 15 minutes or so before we start the annual meeting, and we do have to wait till 6 to start that one.